Hey guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Please. Peekaboo, I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Now. That was flat. Now. That was better. Available Christmas 2025, the album. Dad, shimmy, shimmy, Ev. I'm dreaming of a Smoky Mountain Christmas. Oh my gosh, my voice today. I mean, I'm usually ready for Broadway, but my voice today, she's out of tune a little bit. She's out of tune a little bit. I'm dreaming of I'm dreaming of a... Speed it up a little bit. Speed it up, slow it down, speed it up. I'm with the DJ. I'm dreaming of a Smoky Mountain Christmas. You can take the girl from the country, I have heard them say, but you cannot get the country from the girl. Peace. I actually watched that movie this weekend. I did not do a whole lot online this weekend, except for film hour-and-a-half vlogs every day over my vlog channel. People, hour and a half. I cannot speak today. What is going on? What is going on? Oh, it's a Trisha Paytas video. That's what's going on. It's a Trisha Paytas video, therefore I can't speak. Okay. I actually watched Smoky Mountain Christmas with Dolly Parton. One of the finest Christmas movies that has ever graced made-for-television programming ever. Came out, I think, in 1986 or 87 or 85. Anyway. I love that movie so much, but what I forgot was the scene where they sing that song, which is where they're trimming the tree and stuff like that. If you watch Dolly Parton while she's playing the guitar, she sits there and with her long nails, and she kind of just goes like this and plays chords, but she's not really playing the guitar. But I love that scene so much, and I love that song so much. I'm dreaming of a Smoky Mountain Christmas. Anyway, if you watch my Peter Does Stuff channel, last Friday I announced the 4 Christmas movies that we are watching together to get into the holiday spirit if you celebrate Christmas. If you don't, I can recommend some horror movies to you, or today I'm also covering Sister Wives. But 4 Christmas movies, so if you want to watch 4 of my favorite ever Christmas movies, that video is over on my Peter Does Stuff channel. Like I just said, Sister Wives, I watched it last night. I will be doing that coverage over on my Peter Watches TV channel today, as I do every Monday, covering the Sister Wives. And I have started covering my new favorite show that I binged this weekend, 1,000 Pound Best Friends. Oh my God, I'm almost caught up with season 3. And then once I get caught up, I'm going to do weekly coverage until this season is over. I think there's like 4 or 5 episodes left this season, so I will be doing weekly coverage of it. It's my... Whoa. I thought 1,000 Pound Sisters was good. Oh my God, 1,000 Pound Best Friends is like... chef's kiss. It is so good. So that's what I did this weekend. But Saturday night, interestingly enough, Saturday night, I don't even know what I was doing. I was watching something, and I just happened to get on my Instagram. I was probably taking a nap. It was probably after I got up from my nap, because I take naps really late at night, so I can watch my stories late at night and read my Christmas books. So this is kind of my routine. I take a nap, and then I get up, and then at midnight, I read my Christmas books for the next day, because I'm reading 2 Advent Calendar Christmas books. And by Advent Calendar Christmas books, what I mean is that you count down. You read a chapter a day. I talked about them over here already. One's called 25 Days by Per Jacobson. The other one is called Xmas Break. It's like the longest Christmas Eve dinner in the entire world. But anyway, so I read a chapter a night of those. Oh my God, it's so fun. It's so fun. So anyway, I do that, and then I watch my stories, which my stories this weekend have been 1,000 Pound Best Friends. I've been binge watching it. So much that I even put off Matlock and Elsbeth until last night. And I didn't even get to watch Elsbeth last night because it was so late. I ended up only watching Matlock last night. But it was a holiday Matlock. So, I mean, what more could you wish for? Okay, so this is what happened. This is the story, Morning Glory. So, Saturday, I just happened to get on my Instagram, okay? And if you don't follow my Instagram, I was probably looking for like an inspirational quote, or like, I post a lot of like inspirational quotes. Sometimes I post Bravo stuff over there too. Like they posted the seating chart for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, so I posted that. And then, but I mostly post pictures of animals that live in like the little knot holes in trees, and they have like real houses with refrigerators and stuff like that. I love it so much. I want to be a little animal that lives in a tree somewhere is what I want. No, true story I do. In my next life, I want to come back as like some little animal that lives in a tree. tree, you know, and has like little animal friends and reads little animal books and just has a little animal refrigerator and things like that. And they're always making like a pot of stew or something like that, like Amberlynn Reed back in the day. Oh my God, that just ruined it for me. Do you think that those little animal houses smell like day old stew, like Amberlynn Reed's house? Anyway, that's beside the point. Okay, so it was Saturday night. Imagine it, Saturday night. Candles lit. My wax melt burner is going with Happy Wax, because that's my favorite candle wax right now, or wax melts candle. It's called Happy Wax. And my favorite is the Winterberry, which I thought was going to be my least favorite, but it ended up being my favorite. But that's beside the point, okay? And I finally put up my Christmas tree, so I have my Christmas tree lights lit, okay? And I just gotten done reading my Christmas books, okay? My Advent calendar Christmas books. We're very Christmassy. And so I got done with all that, and then I was like, my husband was already asleep. So anyway, I got done with all that, and then I was like, oh, I should probably check the Instagram to see if there's any, like, inspirational quotes that will change my life, you know? Because I do. Do you do that? Do you find the inspirational quotes to save your life? They saved my life. They do. The Instagram has saved my life. Okay. So anyway, so I go over to the Instagram to look for inspirational quotes, and I got like all these direct messages, and I'm like, what is going on? So I go, and I should give this guy a shout out, because he's the very first one that let me know about it. He was like, did you know that Trisha Paytas was on Saturday Night Live tonight? And I was like, I had no idea that Trisha Paytas, I had no idea she was going to. Did she announce it before? I guess she didn't even announce it. She was kind of like, hey, I'm on here, which is kind of cool. So then I just started getting bombarded with direct messages of people tagging me and stuff and telling me that Trisha Paytas was on Saturday Night Live. I don't know what people expected. Okay, so this is kind of the deal, right? Like, I don't really know how to, I feel like I need a little lip balm, because no matter how I say this, it's gonna go in the wrong direction for some people. Okay, I don't really know how to explain this to people. I have 7 YouTube channels, okay? Let's count them down real quick, okay? I have a vlog, which it's like a podcast, and I just share stories of my life and talk on there every day. Sometimes I cry, sometimes I laugh. Anyway, talk a lot about my recovery, things like that. Okay, because I'm coming up next week. We don't borrow time in sobriety, but a week from tomorrow, if I should make it sober, I'll have 30 years of sobriety. So I've been talking a lot about that over there. Okay, so I got my daily vlog, and then I have my Peterisms channel where I post like meditations and read meditations and share stories in my life and things like that. So anyway, and then I have my Peter Review Stuff channel where I just refuse. No, I don't ever refuse. I review a bunch of like junk food and things like that and gadgets. And then I have my Peter Does Stuff channel, which is just kind of like a shits and giggle channel where I do whatever I want. And my weight loss journey is over there as well. And Peter's Movie Club is over there. Then I have, what else do I have? Oh, my Peter Watches TV channel, okay? And that's where I review like true crime, the John Benet Ramsey documentary coverage that I did over there. That is like, that video is like hot potatoes over there. I'm kind of surprised. And then I review the Sister Wives every Monday, 1,000 Pound Sisters, now 1,000 Pound Best Friends, the Housewives. And then I also react and review to like all the new shows that are coming out on Netflix that are top 10. I just reviewed Hot Frosty, the Christmas movie with Lacey Chabert and Ted from Schitt's Creek. I had a lot of fun doing that video. So I do all kinds of TV reactions over there. And then I have my BookTube channel, of which I've been a lot more active over there. And I just did all of the Christmas mysteries and thrillers that I will be reading. And I have 2 book clubs over there. And then I have this channel, my drama channel. Okay, I think that people sometimes think this is my only channel, that this is all I do, and that I obsess constantly over these people. But when you have 7 channels, and there are a lot of days, Monday through Friday, that I post 4 to 7 videos a day across all of those channels, okay? So when you film a video and then you turn it off to go film, like, let's say, the Sister Wives video, of which I have extensive notes. So as soon as I get done with this, I'll be filming my Sister Wives video, okay? And then by the time that you get that video rendered and then uploaded and thumbnails made, okay? And then you get it posted, by the time you do that with 5 to 7 videos, the day's kind of gone by, okay? And then it's time to spend time with my husband, you know, and things like that. And then I gotta watch my TV shows, I gotta walk, because, you know, I'm on this weight loss journey. I gotta walk and listen to my audiobooks and talk to my friends on the phone, go to meetings, hang out with my husband a little bit more, take a nap. I don't really have a whole lot of time to obsess over these people. people. I just don't, okay? Maybe years ago when I didn't have so many channels, I could look into a little bit more of this stuff, but I don't. And so it's kind of surprising. I think people are kind of surprised sometimes because they're like, don't you hate Trisha? I'm like, I don't hate any of these people. I really don't, okay? I mean, I don't know them well enough to have that kind of strong enough emotion. I think that's one of the things that kind of surprises me the most about the influencer space, or like people's, we call them parasocial relationships and stuff, is that when people have like really strong feelings one way or the other, love or hate towards a person, it's like you don't really know any of these people that have that kind of strong, those kind of strong ass feelings about somebody. You don't, okay? And yet, I do understand it, because when I'm watching The Housewives and I'm screaming and yelling at somebody on The Housewives, I kind of get it, because I get that passionate about The Housewives. But then I kind of feel like I know The Housewives because I've invested like 20 seasons in them. So I don't know, maybe it is kind of the same. But I think that people have this idea that, like, I hate Jeffree Star, or I, like, hate Shane Dawson, or, I mean, I was just saying to somebody last night, it kind of makes me sad a little bit for Shane Dawson that I feel like he can't share more about, like, being a father and his kids because he feels like he can't, you know? And so, I mean, my job as a drama channel is when something problematic, I mean, people are always like, why don't you make positive videos about these people? Okay, because I'm not a positivity channel, I'm a drama channel, I'm a gossip tea channel, okay? I'm a shit-talking channel. That's what I am, all right? It's like when you call your girlfriend and you tell her some gossip, and you're talking about your friend Judy Smith, and you're like, oh my God, do you know who Judy Smith went on a date with on Saturday night? And she's like, who? And you're like, Johnny Smith. That doesn't make sense. But anyway, I'm blah, 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 about John. Oh, really? That's what my channel is. I think sometimes people confuse that, okay? It's not like in the middle of all that gossip, you're like, yes, but she did go to church last Sunday. I know, and she sang really beautifully. It's like, okay, that's not where that's going, okay? I do sometimes give compliments to these people, and I will today, okay? But I just want to make that clear, because I think that people think that, I don't know, maybe it would fare for my channel better if people thought that I really hated these people. There's some people that I think are seriously problematic, okay? And I don't understand why they continue to have platforms like James Charles and Colleen Ballinger. Now, I wouldn't say I hate those people, but I don't understand the public interest. And a lot of these people have done really problematic things. So my job is to come on here as a drama channel and to talk about those problematic things, okay? Let's just make that clear. I don't have the emotional attachment that some people have to online people and things like that. Okay, so let's just make that clear. So I started getting all these messages, and people were like, oh my God, like, Trisha Paytas was on Saturday Night Live. I don't know by the context of the messages that what people were wanting me to do in a video. I think people were, I think they were kind of surprised by my response, because a couple people I responded to, and I was like, oh, that's exciting, good for her. I mean, I'm not going to drag her for being on Saturday Night Live. That's a huge accomplishment. That's a huge accomplishment, okay? I grew up with my mother every Saturday night. I think every Saturday until my mom was hospitalized, she watched Saturday Night Live. I mean, from like the 70s all the way through. My mom, I mean, she loved back in the day, Gilda Radner on there. I mean, I grew up with like all the jokes, you know, being told of Rosanna Dana on Saturday Night Live. Huge stars have come from Saturday Night Live. It's a huge, huge, huge thing, okay? Saturday Night Live and Second City are huge, right? And so as somebody that, it's interesting to me because back in the day when I would talk to Trisha Paytas would always talk about comedy. Like, she was really interested in comedy in a way that kind of surprised me, because she would reference herself that she kind of loved the comedy of Andy Kaufman from the TV show Taxi, and that where it's so in your face that you don't even know it's comedy, kind of, and she would reference that. And I think to some degree she kind of modeled that for a while, you know? And so I think there's a lot of people that think she's like this genius comedian, and a lot of people think it's just who she is, and a lot of people that are confused. And I've always kind of thought that that's part of what Trisha Paytas' act is in the confusion. Like, you don't really know what's real and what's not real. Like, you don't know, like when she plays dumb, is that real? Is it not real? Is it real sometimes? Is it, she constantly keeps you guessing, okay? And that's part of the comedy. And honestly, when people really like Trisha, that's part of the brilliance of Trisha Paytas is, and I'm just being completely fair in this video, okay? That's part of the brilliance and the talent of Trisha Paytas is that she keeps you guessing. In a world that we are living in right now, where social media influencers might have 2 to 3, 4 years max, where I was telling somebody just this last night that reached out to me, and I was talking to them, giving them some advice, and I said, right now, you need to strike while strike while the iron's hot, right? Because like you have 2 to 3 years while you're like hot, right? But like after that, I don't know, like you might not have the opportunity. Some of these people have been keeping up careers for years and years and years. What's interesting is, because there's been this conversation about Trisha Paytas canceling, the Jeffree Star podcast. I guess it's been confirmed at this point. I did a video about that a couple days ago. What's interesting is that when you, let's take a look at Jeffree Star and Trisha Paytas' career side by side, okay? And I'm not saying that Trisha Paytas has not done some horrific shit and hasn't put out lies and all that kind of stuff. I've done a lot of that, covered a lot in videos in past, okay? I'm talking about today in the life of Trisha Paytas. When you look at her career, and people are like, well, Jeffree Star still has a career. Jeffree Star still has a career, but he's still talking about stuff in his life. Like, people come to me and they're like, why are you still talking about this stuff from 5 years ago? Well, why is Jeffree Star? I mean, I'm a drama channel that's day olds too, okay? That's Jeffree Star still bringing it up from 5 years ago. I'm just covering that he's talking about it from 5 years ago. So if Jeffree Star is relying on drama that happened to him 5 years ago, that's his relevancy, okay? You know what I'm saying? And Trisha Paytas continues to reinvent herself over and over and over again. And I think it's very smart. I think, and if the podcast hadn't worked, if the Just Trish podcast hadn't worked, I think she would have moved on to something else. I think she would have done something else. And I think that's where she constantly is meeting new people, interacting with new people. I think she's played it very, very smart when it comes to, I mean, she's a hustler. Let's just be honest. She's a hustler, okay? I don't know that I think some of these people hustle the way that she's willing to hustle. Like, when you look at her, like, in regards to Jeffree Star, I think that Jeffree Star's just kind of like, I think it really is a lot about the money for him, and if he just can't make all that money anymore, then whatever. And I have another video about that. Somebody sent me something that I thought was very, very interesting in regards to Jeffree Star and supposedly having all this money. But anyway, and then you look at Shane Dawson. I think Shane Dawson has kind of resigned himself to the fact that he doesn't really care if he has huge fandom of stardom anymore. I think he is completely, happy doing his podcast and doing a video here and there and having a family with Ryland and raising their kids. I think he's completely fine with that. I think he enjoys doing the podcast. I think it pays the bills. I think he has money saved. I think they've been very smart probably with money. They have 2 homes. So I don't think he really cares to be that world famous anymore. When the kids get a little bit older, we might see a resurgence where he comes back out and he says, because I mean, remember he was coming out with a horror movie? Did that horror movie ever happen? I don't remember Shane Dawson's huge horror movie being released, and that was like his big, huge thing. And I said that in the video, and people were like, he's releasing that movie. Well, where's the movie? Can somebody let me know where I could go see that? Or stream it, or rent it at the Blockbuster? Because I would like to see that horror movie of Shane Dawson's that he supposedly put out 2 years ago. I haven't seen that one. And I'm not talking about the video that he did with Ryland and Morgan called We're Driving Over the Screaming Bridge. I'm not talking about that. But this is the thing, right? It's like that life of Shane Dawson, to live at home and raise his kids and do his podcast. Like, I think online we should be normalizing that. Before it was like this rush for people to want to get famous and have all these subscribers and viewers. But I think it's really more relatable to be able to do something that you absolutely love, pay your bills on top of it, and have a life where you're just going to hang out, watch TV, come up with creative ideas, and hang out with the people that you love. Oh, wait a second. I have that life. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's not always about this, like, fight for fame, but I do think that there's bucket list things, and one of Trisha Paytas' bucket list things was that she wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. So I started getting all these people that sent it to me, and the first couple I responded to them, but it was like, after that, it was like massive amounts of people were sending it to me that she was on Saturday Night Live. The first couple people I was like, oh, that's really exciting, good for her. I knew that was always like a dream of Trisha Paytas' to be on Saturday Night Live, right? Like, I think that's cool. I mean, Trisha is somebody that, I don't know if you guys remember this, but she would put out, like, back in the day, like, she would hint and act like she was the next housewife on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, or that she was going to be in some Broadway show. It was all just, like, a joke, but, like, she would get people wondering, like, is she really going to be in The Real Housewives? I think I made a video about that. So she would put this stuff out there back in the day. Well, I mean, you would talk about visualization. The idea that she dreamed of this so bad and she wanted to do it. And also the fact that the podcast, the Just Trish podcast, which in all honesty, okay, came from the fact that her and Colleen were supposed to have this podcast that then she dissolved because of Colleen's mess. And then Trish turns around and is like, no, I don't need a co-star co-host. I need Oscar. And I've said this for a long time. I think Oscar matches her perfectly on the show. And then her podcast explodes and does really, really well. And then she gets opportunities like Saturday Night Live off of this. Yes, I think she's been very smart. It also makes, it's very interesting now, I know why, she was deleting all these problematic videos, okay? Which she said that they don't need to exist anymore. Well, I think she knew. I think this is just the beginning of one thing happening for her. I think in the next 6 months to a year, we're going to see a lot of these kinds of things. I think we're going to see you know how Jeffree Star is doing the podcast tour of people that he kind of knows, like Trisha and Tana? I think we're going to see Trisha do a tour, but it's going to be on a mainstream level. I think there's things in the works, whether it's a TV show or a movie or something like that, that she's going to be not a star, but like a co-star on or something like that. I think this is all in the works. She's knowing people that know people that are big industry. And so, she's got connections in there. I think she knows something big is coming out. She's already kind of hinted at it. I think she has seen this coming months in ahead, and that's why she's been deleting a lot of these videos. I think she wants to clean her record. The problem with that is that so many people through the years have covered Trisha Paytas that, I mean, she can delete all those videos that she wants, but all that problematic stuff is still up there. People have covered her for years and years and years, and not even online. I mean, there's massive amounts of articles that are written about this. But what's interesting was when people started sending me stuff saying that Ethan Klein said that would never happen, and even went so far as to say that if she was on Saturday Night Live, something like he would cut his arm off or something like that. I don't know much about this. I will ask you this, though, because I haven't covered or watched Ethan Klein in quite some time. I'm going to cover this today. I'm going to read this article here in a second. But there seems to be like a really strong distaste for Ethan Klein. I just feel like I see stuff online all the time. It's like people are like really upset with Ethan Klein. What's the turnaround? Can somebody explain that to me? Reach out to me, comment in the comment section below. Like, what's been the turnaround with Ethan Klein that people are like really upset with him now? I don't know. But anyway, so let me know about that. But I saw this article come up on People Magazine. Now, if you're not aware of People Magazine, when I was growing up, People Magazine covered, like, really important celebrities and, like, their marriages and divorces and, you know, it was, like, the Oscar coverage and stuff like that. Now, they kind of cover the life and times of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Oh, the mighty have fallen. I mean, it's interesting to me because People Magazine at the time was like at the top. The National Enquirer was kind of at the bottom. If you grew up in my generation, you know what I'm talking about. The National Enquirer was where, like, you know, people were having alien babies, you know, that at 90 years old and stuff like that. And that was on the cover of the National Enquirer. People Magazine was like, these are the people that are nominated for the Academy Awards. The fact that now People Magazine has fallen so far that it is literally the National Enquirer and it's covering the daily moves of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who I don't know why we give a shit about that girl, but yes, I will be covering her this week. I have no clue why we care about that girl whatsoever. Okay, it's baffling to me. So anyway, when I see that, it's like, this is crazy to me, because I can remember going in, like, even, like, years ago, a couple years ago, when I was doing magazine videos, and I would, like, pick the OK magazine. Even the National Examiner was kind of a shit newspaper. It had the Sheila Wood Friendship Club in there, but it was a shit newspaper, you know? And now it's like People Magazine has fallen so far. So People Magazine put this article out, I think this was 20 hours ago. Trisha Paytas makes Saturday Night Live cameo 3 years after her podcast co-host, Ethan Klein, said he'd cut his arm off if she ever made the show. So I don't know much about this, so I thought that we would read the article and I would educate myself along with you guys. Are you ready? Okay, so this is from People Magazine. Trisha Paytas made her Saturday Night Live debut in a December 7th skit alongside host Paul Mescal, Bowen Yang, and other cast members. Now, apparently, at the end of it, during the goodbyes, okay, when people that make cameos on the show, they usually kind of just, like, stand to the side, and, like, the main guest, the main musical guest, and stuff like that, my tripod is, like, continuing to fall over. They kind of, like, are front and center with, like, the rest of the cast of Saturday Night Live, and then, like, the cameo people are to the side. Bowen Yang, like, pulled her to the front, okay? So, for those of you... I think Paul Mescal did too. But for those of you that do not know who some of these people are, Bowen Yang is like becoming a huge up and coming actor, comedian, has been for the last couple years. Has done some like really fantastic shows, is a role model for the LGBT community. So do I believe that Trisha Paytas people for years have considered her a gay icon. Do I believe that there's a possibility that Bowen Yang and Trisha Paytas, because he's the one that supposedly pushes her to the front of the stage during the goodbyes, is there a possibility that Bowen Yang and Trisha Paytas could be working on a movie together and that she's going to be like this iconic co-star kind of like friend of the gays kind of thing in this movie. Yes, I think that's very possible. And Bowen Yang's movies are getting a lot of attention. He did this movie called Fire, I think it was called Fire Island. It was actually fantastic. My husband and I watched it. He's hilarious. He is mainstream. And so do I think that that could be possibly, since he's the one that pushed Trisha out in the front, like, for the goodbyes, I mean, it was live, so nobody was going to tell her to get to the side. I mean, she was already out there, so she got to be front and center for the goodbyes. That's a huge thing. For those of us that have watched Saturday Night Live for years and years and years, that is a huge, huge, huge thing, okay? Do I think that there's a possibility that Trisha Paytas is doing a project with Bowen Yang, and that's what she's been talking about? Yeah, I do. I think that that's where the connection is. Because I do think that Trisha Paytas, as like a co-star in a very, like, gay-focused movie, I think she would do very, very well in that. And if that movie got enough attention, okay, it could be that she could be, and I know when I say this, people are going to be like, that is such a stretch, okay? If that movie got enough attention, right, which a lot of LGBTQIA plus pop media right now, musicians, television shows, books, and movies are getting a lot of attention. If that got her a lot of attention, she could become the younger, newer, like, Jennifer Coolidge. She really could, okay? If people started, like, putting her in all these movies as kind of like this gay icon, it really could happen. I know that people are like, that is such a stretch. You know, I said years ago, if Tana Mongeau was smart, what Tana Mongeau would do is she would start working with a lot of directors. She had a lot of clout at the time, right? That she was kind of seen as this silly girl that just got famous by telling stories about her life and blah, 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 whatever. If she really cared about her career and she really wanted to show what she had, she would reach out to some producers and directors, and she would do, and I'm trying to think, there's actually a movie coming out with Pamela Anderson. I think it's called The Last Showgirl. And it's like a dramatic show, but it's about this, like, showgirl in Las Vegas played by Pamela Anderson. It's like her show gets canceled, and so it's like the end of her career. If Tana Mongeau, and I know she's not the same age as Pamela Anderson, but I just adore Pamela Anderson right now, but if Tana Mongeau were able to get cast in a movie, and I do believe, and I know this is a stretch too, and I'm saying a lot of unpopular opinions today, but I do think that Tana Mongeau has the reach, okay, to do a very dramatic role. If she did a very dramatic role in some kind of independent film, I do think it could take her to another level. This is where I think that Trisha Paytas is smart. Because I think Trisha Paytas, I always ask people this, like, whenever I talk to anybody, okay, whether it's another drama channel or a huge YouTuber or a TikToker or whatever, I'm like, what's your long-term plan, like 5 or 10 years from now, right? Like, what's your plan? Because my plan is, I want to still be doing stuff that I love 5 or 10 years from now and being able to watch my TV shows and things like that. That's why I say, for Shane Dawson, if that's what his dream is, let's normalize that, right? Instead of always having to be super popular and on top of your game, right? Like, that's not attainable and sustainable for a long period of time. But doing what you love, like having a podcast, putting some videos out every couple months like Shane Dawson's doing, having a couple beautiful homes, living your best life, raising your kids, that is sustainable and attainable. Maybe that should be the next goal of social media instead of all these kids being like, I want to be a TikTok star with one viral TikTok, right? But I think that you also have to think about, where do you want to be 5, 10, 15 years down the road, you know? As an older influencer, I hate that word, but as people refer to me that, as an older YouTuber, dude with a camera, at 52, almost 53 years old, I do ask myself that. Like, are people really going to want to hear me continue to talk about YouTube drama when I'm 65? Some people say yes. Other people are like, you should have been gone before you started. You know what I'm saying? So I think about that stuff. I think about, okay, what's next? Cozy Mystery Series? You know, what am I going to do next? I think about that. And I always ask people that too. Like, what is your long-term plan? Like, where do you want to be 10 years from now? Trisha Paytas is somebody that thinks about that stuff. I think she thinks about, what do I want? I've got my kids, I've got my marriage, I've got my podcast. What's next for me? I think she's somebody that definitely thinks about those things. I think she's been thinking about those things for 20 years, you know? Okay, so Paytas made her Saturday Night Live debut on December 7th skit alongside host Paul Mescal, Bowen Yang, and other cast members. Trisha Paytas has made her Saturday Night Live debut. On Saturday, December 7th, the 36-year-old social media influencer made a surprise appearance on the sketch comedy show, joining host Paul Mescal and a handful of cast members, including Bowen Yang, for a skit about Spotify Wrapped, okay? In the skit, Paytas appeared as herself on a podcast called Awakenings. See, this is where I'm talking about the Jennifer Coolidge thing. Even though Jennifer Coolidge plays characters, she almost kind of always plays herself. Like, we just watched the movie, I love this Christmas movie, and it is a very famous gay-themed Christmas movie called Single All the Way. Jennifer Coolidge is in it. She plays the funny aunt. But Jennifer Coolidge kind of plays herself in every movie, right? Like, we know that. And so do I think that that's possible, that Trisha Paytas could be the crossover? She hinted at wanting to be in the next White Lotus. Do I think that Jennifer Coolidge's career is somebody that Trisha Paytas has watched and idolized and thought, I could do that? Yes, I absolutely think that she thinks that. This is going to stop. Hold on a second. Okay, one of the things that I have noticed about Trisha through the years is that Trisha picks people, like Andy Kaufman that she talked about years ago to me. She picks people that she envies or idolizes, and this is not a bad thing. I mean, we called them role models when we were growing up, right? She likes what they've done. She takes it, she puts her own twist on it, okay? And she's been able to be unique enough that she can do that. Do I think that she could do something like that and be in all these movies as Trisha Paytas or this character that she plays of herself? Because we don't really even know who Trisha Paytas is at times, right? Yeah, I do think that's possible. In the skit, Paytas appeared as herself on a podcast called Awakenings, which Mescal's character Myron had featured as his most listened to podcast on his Spotify Wrapped, which then also brings more attention to her podcast, okay? She and Awakenings host Satoshi Gutman, played by Yang, then surprised Myron and his friends, played by Andrew, it has all these people listed, during an at-home gathering. Okay. Paytas' cameo lasted less than a minute before she later appeared during the show's closing moment. That's when Bo and Yang pushed her to the front. After the fact, fans pointed out that Paytas previously expressed her desire to be on the show more than 3 years ago, when her former Frenemies podcast co-host Ethan Klein claimed he would remove a limb if she ever made it on the show. During an April 2021 episode of the now defunct podcast, which was resurfaced. Oh, I should have worn my Frenemies podcast today. Or my Frenemies podcast. I should have worn my Frenemies hoodie today. Damn it. Which was resurfaced by multiple TikTok users after Paytas' Saturday Night Live appearance. Klein said he would rather die than be on the show, while Paytas said she would be on it. If you go on Saturday Night Live, I will. What's something really valuable I can put on the line? I'll cut my arm off, Klein said. My whole arm. After Paytas told Klein that she did not want him to remove his arm, he reiterated what he then called his threat, adding, "If you go on SNL, I'll cut my effing arm off." Paytas also previously mentioned the NBC show in a 2020 TikTok in which she could be seen pretending to host. But this is, okay, this is not Trisha foreshadowing what's going to happen. Trisha does this. Trisha puts things out there into the... It's like when Lin-Manuel, said something to Trisha Paytas. I mean, she was such a huge Hamilton fan, right? And then after that happened, she's kind of stopped talking about Hamilton. It's like Trisha Paytas puts this stuff out in the universe. She's very smart with this stuff. And then she's like, if somebody from Saturday Night Live sees it, then maybe I'll be able to go on Saturday Night Live for some kind of skit down the road. She puts this stuff out. It's not like she's like this psychic foretelling the future. She puts this out there purposely. Okay, so somebody out there will see it. It's like she'll get... she might say, I'd love to go on Survivor. She might do 10 minutes of a podcast about that. And the producers at Survivor are like, oh, Trisha Paytas would be good for our show. And somebody sends that to them. And then all of a sudden she's on Survivor and people are like, oh, she said this 3 years ago. No, it's because she put it out there because she wanted to go on Survivor. Trisha's been doing this forever. Paytas also previously mentioned the NBC show in a 2020 TikTok in which she could be seen pretending to host a Saturday Night Live while its intro song played in the background. The way that me hosting SNL this weekend because the internet really be showing me so much love right now, her caption read. This is the thing, that she does stuff like Domino's, Pizza Man Delivery, working at McDonald's, that people don't really know what's real and what's not with her. That's kind of how she gets away with it sometimes. So she can put all this stuff out there, and then she can just go, oh, I mean, I thought it would be kind of fun to act like I was a Saturday Night Live host, but I never really knew that it would happen. That's the dumb act that you don't really know if it's real or if it's not real, okay? But she's smarter than people give her credit for. Paytas' Saturday Night Live stint comes just a month after she appeared on the Los Angeles premiere of Wicked. I think it's so interesting that so many people are talking about her being at the Wicked premiere. Do you guys know how? I mean, I'm happy for her. Congratulations to her. I know she loves Wicked and she loves Broadway and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like, why did they invite every influencer in the world? I think I saw that Jaclyn Hill was there. I mean, it was like every influencer was at the Wicked premiere. But the only one that anybody's talking about is Trisha Paytas. I think that's kind of funny. And 3 months after she and her daughter, Malibu Barbie, wore matching Glinda outfits on their own. Oh, that's cute. Okay, back in August, the influencer and her now 2-year-old daughter could be seen in an Instagram post trying on their own pink, sparkly gowns inspired by Ariana Grande's character. Okay. She's talking about showing her. Okay, Paytas announced, and she goes on to talk about the birth. So anyway, I guess we'll see how Ethan Klein will respond to this. This is how Ethan Klein will respond to it. He'll be like, did I say that? Did I really say that? And then somebody will pull up the footage. Well, I didn't really mean it like that. I mean, I didn't really. I said it, okay, but I mean, we know it was a joke. I didn't really mean it. I didn't really. That's how he'll address it, you know? Anyway. Not that I want him to harm himself in any way, because I do not, okay? But, I don't know. And then, and then if he does come out and congratulate her, he'll be like, I mean, I guess, congrats. Can't we all just be good citizens? Can't we all just be good citizens in class today, please? Do you remember when our teachers used to say that to us? I never understood what that meant in class. Student, I understood, but what is a good citizen in class? I do not understand what that means. Sit in your desk, have your pencil ready, have your number 2 pencil ready for a Scantron. There will be a Scantron test tomorrow, so be prepared. People are like, what is going on? It doesn't matter. It doesn't, we're all in the metaverse anyway, and I don't even know what that means. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys. Congrats to Trisha for Saturday Night Live. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.